Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive into the world of the Dalmatian pelican.
The Dalmatian Pelican.
Yeah, so we're going to be taking a look at this incredible bird, using this essay as our our guide.
Right?
And it goes into everything, from like its quirky characteristics to the challenges that it faces, and even, the folks that are fighting to protect it.
Absolutely.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, a pelican, I've seen it, I get it. But hold on.
Right.
This isn't just any white pelican.
No.
We're talking about the biggest of them all, El.
The biggest.
A bird so massive that it, pushes the limits of what we think a flying creature can even be.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you're talking about a wingspan that can stretch, across your entire living room.
What?
Up to 3.5 meters.
Wow.
That's huge. And that's not all they can weigh as much as, a full backpack of groceries.
Oh, wow.
Up to 15 kilograms.
Really?
It's mind-boggling how something that heavy can even get off the ground.
Oh, I know.
Let alone soar gracefully through the air.
It makes you wonder, right? How do those wings even support all that weight?
Yeah.
It must be like having built-in weightlifting equipment or something.
It really is remarkable.
But it's not just about size, is it? The essay was describing them as being quite elegant in their own right.
Oh, absolutely.
With this striking silvery white plumage.
Yeah, and then there's the curly feathers on their heads,
Oh, yeah.
which always make me think they've just rolled out of bed, Yeah.
Yeah.
With that perfectly disheveled look.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about that bill.
Oh, yeah. That bill. It's practically a character in its own right, isn't it?
It really is.
The essay says it can reach up to 50 centimeters long.
Yeah.
I mean, that's longer than my forearm.
Wow.
What's the deal with that? Is it all for looks, or is there a practical purpose to having such a massive beak?
Well, it's definitely not just for show. I mean, that bill is a highly specialized tool
Okay.
designed for one thing, catching fish.
Catching fish.
And under that bill is where things get really interesting. There's this incredible pouch, almost like a built-in fishing net that they can use to scoop up huge amounts of water.
Wow.
And their prey all in one go.
So it's like having a built-in grocery bag, but for fish?
Exactly.
That's amazing. It makes you appreciate how evolution has shaped them to be such efficient hunters.
It really is fascinating.
But where do these feathered fishing champions, hang out? Where do we find them?
Well, they're drawn to places where the buffet is always open,
Okay.
places rich with fish. Think wetlands, lakes, rivers, estuaries.
Gotcha.
Basically anywhere with shallow water and an abundance of their favorite snacks.
Okay, so they've got a pretty good life, right?
Mhm.
Cruising around these idyllic landscapes, scooping up fish with their giant nets. But I'm guessing it's not all sunshine and roses for these guys, is it?
You're right, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Life isn't a peaceful fishing trip for the Dalmatian pelican. The biggest challenge they face
Yeah.
is the loss of their precious wetlands.
Oh.
These habitats are being drained for agriculture, gobbled up by sprawling cities, and disrupted by dam construction. It's like someone keeps shrinking their dining room and taking away their plates.
That's a great analogy. And the essay specifically mentioned how dam construction messes with the natural flow of rivers,
Right.
which in turn impacts the fish populations.
Ooh.
It's a chain reaction that just throws the whole ecosystem out of whack.
Absolutely. And it's not just about losing their homes.
Right.
It's about losing their food supply.
Of course.
And their ability to thrive in a place that's been perfectly designed for them over millennia.
Right.
And to make matters worse, as their habitat shrinks, they're forced to compete more fiercely with other species
Wow.
for dwindling resources.
So it's like they're being squeezed from all sides,
Exactly.
which is heartbreaking to think about.
Yeah.
We've talked about habitat loss, but that's just one piece of the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
There are other more direct threats that we need to uncover. What else is putting pressure on the Dalmatian pelican?
Well, there's the problem of human disturbance, especially during that sensitive breeding season.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine trying to raise a family with constant noise and interruptions. It's stressful, and it can even lead to pelicans abandoning their nests,
Oh, no.
which obviously has a devastating impact on their population.
So essentially, it's like trying to sleep with construction going on next door.
Exactly.
Right. But human disturbance can't be the only issue.
Right.
What else is threatening these amazing birds?
Well, sadly, there's more. Pollution is another big one, contaminating their water sources,
Oh.
impacting the health of both the pelicans and their prey.
Oh, wow.
And then there's overfishing, which depletes their food supply.
Right.
And then add to that the unpredictable effects of climate change,
Yeah.
further disrupting the delicate balance of their wetland ecosystems.
It's a lot to process, really.
It is.
These birds are facing an onslaught of challenges. But there's one thing in the essay that really shocked me.
Okay.
The fact that some humans directly persecute these majestic creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, why would anyone intentionally harm a Dalmatian pelican?
It's a complex issue with a mix of factors at play. Some fishermen sadly see pelicans as competition.
As if they're stealing their catch.
Right, as if they're stealing their catch. This misconception can lead to people deliberately hunting or killing them.
Wow.
On top of that, you have accidental deaths caused by collisions with power lines and entanglement in fishing gear.
Oh, wow.
It's a grim reality for these birds.
It paints a pretty dire picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the essay mentioned that the global population is estimated to be somewhere between 10,000 and 15,000 individuals.
Right.
Those numbers seem incredibly low for a species that was once so widespread.
You're right to be concerned. Those numbers are alarmingly low.
Yeah.
And they highlight the urgency of the situation. However, it's not all doom and gloom.
Okay, that's good. I definitely need to hear some good news right now.
Right.
So tell me what's being done to help these guys. Are there any glimmers of hope out there?
Absolutely. Despite the challenges, there are some truly incredible people and organizations around the world fighting for the Dalmatian pelican. It's like a global support system, all focused on giving these birds a chance at a brighter future.
Okay, that's encouraging to hear. What kind of work are these groups doing? Are there any success stories we can celebrate?
Well, first and foremost, the Dalmatian pelican has officially been recognized as near threatened on the IUCN Red List.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't that bad? But actually, it's a huge step forward.
Okay.
It means there's global awareness of their vulnerability,
Gotcha.
and countries are committing to protecting them.
Oh,
It's like a wake-up call saying, hey, we need to act now before it's too late.
So it's like a global alarm bell rallying people to action.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm.
But what does that action actually look like? What specific things are being done to help these birds?
Well, for starters, several amazing protected areas have been established in key locations across their range.
Oh, okay.
These are like safe havens designed to give the pelicans the space and resources they need to thrive.
Okay.
Think of it like a national park, but specifically for pelicans and the wetlands they depend on.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Where are some of these pelican paradises located?
There are some incredible spots across Europe that have become crucial for the Dalmatian pelican's survival.
Okay.
For example, there's Greece's Prespa Lakes, which is like a pelican metropolis.
Wow.
Then you've got Montenegro's Lake Skadar and Romania's Danube Delta.
Okay.
All of these areas are teeming with life and provide the perfect combination of shallow water, abundant fish, and safe nesting sites.
It sounds like they've got prime real estate in those locations.
They do.
It's amazing to think about those places just bustling with these majestic birds. But protecting existing habitats is only part of the solution, right? What about the places that have already been damaged or lost? Is there any way to make up for that?
That's a great question, and the answer is yes. One of the really cool things that's happening is the construction of artificial nesting platforms.
Okay.
These platforms are basically human-made islands designed to mimic natural nesting sites,
Oh, wow.
providing a safe and stable place for the pelicans to raise their young.
It's like we're playing pelican architects, creating custom-designed homes for them. But I'm curious, how effective are these platforms? Do the pelicans actually use them?
They really do. In many cases, these platforms have been incredibly successful.
Really?
The pelicans seem to love them, and they've boosted breeding success in areas where natural nesting sites are limited.
Wow.
It's a great example of how human ingenuity can help wildlife adapt to a changing world.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're giving them a helping hand to rebuild their populations. But habitat loss and artificial nesting platforms aside, what about the more direct threats like human disturbance and conflicts with fishermen? How are those being tackled?
Those are critical areas of focus, and a lot of effort is being poured into finding solutions.
Okay.
For example, many organizations are working tirelessly to reduce human disturbance, especially in those critical breeding areas.
Makes sense.
This can involve restricting access to certain areas, educating tourists and local communities about responsible behavior around pelicans, and even implementing noise reduction measures. It's all about creating a more peaceful and protected environment where the pelicans can raise their families undisturbed.
It sounds like a delicate balance, finding ways for humans and pelicans to coexist harmoniously. And what about the conflict with fishermen? I imagine that's a tough one to solve.
You're right, it can be a delicate situation.
Yeah.
But there are some promising initiatives focused on mitigating these conflicts.
Okay.
One approach involves working directly with fishing communities,
Okay.
promoting more sustainable fishing practices that minimize the impact on pelican prey.
Gotcha.
There are also programs that provide compensation to fishermen for any losses attributed to
Oh,
pelicans,
interesting.
helping to ease tensions and foster a sense of shared responsibility. And in some areas, there are efforts to explore alternative livelihood options for fishing
Oh,
communities,
wow.
reducing their reliance on fishing and finding new ways to thrive alongside the pelicans.
It's inspiring to see how creative solutions are emerging to address these complex issues.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a real shift happening from seeing pelicans as competition to recognizing their value and finding ways to coexist peacefully. But it's not just about protecting the pelicans themselves, is it? The essay made a point of emphasizing their role in maintaining a healthy ecosystem.
Absolutely. The Dalmatian pelican isn't just a beautiful bird, it's a vital part of the intricate web of life in wetlands.
Okay.
Protecting them means protecting those entire ecosystems.
Okay.
That benefits everyone, including US.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about how these pelicans contribute to a healthy environment. How do they benefit other species, and what does that have to do with humans?
Well, think of wetlands as Earth's natural water filtration systems. They act like giant sponges,
Okay.
absorbing excess water, preventing floods,
Right.
and slowly releasing it during dry periods, which helps regulate water levels. They also filter out pollutants,
Okay.
ensuring cleaner water for everyone downstream.
So they're like nature's water purifiers, providing a vital service that benefits both wildlife and humans.
Precisely.
But what do pelicans have to do with this?
Mm.
Are they actively involved in the water filtration process?
Not directly, but their presence indicates a healthy wetland ecosystem.
Okay.
You see, a thriving pelican population means there's enough fish to support them,
Right.
which means the water is clean enough to support a diverse fish population and so on. It's a chain reaction of interconnectedness,
Right.
with the pelicans serving as a kind of indicator species
Yeah.
for the overall health of the ecosystem.
So if we see lots of pelicans doing well, it's a sign that the entire ecosystem is in good shape.
Exactly.
And if the pelicans are struggling, it's a warning sign that something is out of balance.
Precisely.
It's a pretty powerful concept, isn't it?
It is. And that's why protecting pelicans is about so much more than just saving a single species.
Right.
It's about safeguarding the health of our planet and ensuring a sustainable future for all.
And that's where education and public awareness come in, right? The essay mentioned how involving local communities in conservation efforts is crucial. What are some of the ways this is being done?
There are so many inspiring initiatives happening around the world.
Yeah.
For example, there are programs that bring school children to wetlands,
Oh, boy.
giving them firsthand experiences with pelicans and their environment.
That's great.
There are community workshops and training programs that teach people about sustainable fishing practices and the importance of wetland conservation. There are even citizen science projects where people can help monitor pelican populations,
Wow.
contribute to research, and become active participants in the conservation effort.
It's amazing how many different ways there are for people to get involved. It's about empowering individuals to become stewards of their local environment and giving them the knowledge and tools to make a difference. But it's not just about local efforts, is it? The essay also highlighted the importance of international collaboration. Why is that so important for a bird like the Dalmatian pelican?
Well, remember, these are migratory birds. They don't just stay in one place.
Right.
They travel across countries and even continents, following their food sources and seeking suitable breeding grounds.
Right.
That means protecting them requires cooperation across borders,
Okay.
ensuring that their habitats are safe and well managed no matter where they go.
So it's like a global relay race with each country passing the baton to ensure the pelicans have safe passage and adequate resources throughout their journey. What kind of international agreements or initiatives are in place to support this?
There are some really important international agreements that play a crucial role in pelican conservation.
Okay.
For example, the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands is a global treaty specifically focused on protecting and managing wetlands worldwide.
Oh, wow.
This convention provides a framework for countries to work together to designate and conserve important wetland habitats, including those critical for the Dalmatian pelican.
That's great to hear. It's like a global pact with countries coming together to safeguard these precious ecosystems.
Yeah.
What about research and funding? Are those playing a role in pelican conservation efforts?
They are, absolutely. And thankfully, both research and funding are playing increasingly important roles in Dalmatian pelican conservation.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Scientists are constantly working to gather more information about these birds, their movements, their breeding habits, their feeding preferences, the threats they face.